Welcome to From the Hip podcast, people. I'm David, and this is hosted at the Say What studio and sponsored by the Covenant Studios. And today we've got a joy for you. We've got Matt, who's both a photographer and a model, and his girlfriend Sally, who's getting into modeling, correct?
A little bit, not a whole lot, but a
Okay.
little bit. I've done it a little bit.
So, Matt, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, well, my name is Matt McGovern. I'm from Mississippi, but I moved to Texas in 2012, and I've been living in the Waco area for the last 7 years. My day job, I work for the Fox station in Waco. I'm the main person in charge of, well, for lack of a better term, I'm in charge of putting most of the news stories in our area on our website as well as on our social media. Like everybody else on the news team, they do news for a live TV broadcast. I'm the digital guy that puts everything online for people who use their phones to check the news.
So you're the nerd.
You know what? Sure, we're in a time where nerd is starting to mean cool again. It doesn't go by a textbook definition, I don't believe. Yeah, but at the same time, I do have a number of hobbies. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I have a history of photography, and I also dabble in male modeling a little bit too. I have more history in photography.
So how long have you been doing photography?
Let's see. Both of my parents are photographers, and I remember always, hanging out with them and learning how to use a camera at an early age. I can't really put a date on how long I've been doing it, but what I can say is that it was about 10 years ago where I decided to do something big with it. So let's say 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I started off as a water sports photographer, actually. I was big into jet skis at the time, and I shook hands and met people who do professional watercraft jet ski events around Texas. I went to the events, I took pictures, I did some interviews and wrote articles for a magazine, nationwide magazine, and I did that for about 5 years before that kind of phased out, and portrait photography just kind of evolved from that.
When I think of water sports, I think of water skiing and jet skis or wakeboarding doesn't even cross my mind.
I understand.
Yeah, that just never been on a jet ski, and dang sure haven't been wakeboarding. But my first wife was a tournament water skier.
Really?
Did not know that until we met. And our first date was to go water skiing.
Sounds like a nice date.
Well, it was until when I first met her, she was waitress at a bar. I asked her, I said, well, you look like a skier. And she said, how do you know? And she was all tan, long blonde hair. I said, well, let's go skiing sometime. So we set a date, and then she asked me, she said, can I bring my tricks? Your what? She said, my trick skis. I said, sure. Well, first she asked if she'd bring her slalom, and then she asked about the tricks when I picked her up. And she opens the trunk of her car, she takes out her slalom ski, and takes out a bag with trick skis. Now, I didn't know that she skied tournaments at the time. And I knew nothing about tournament skiing and zero about trick skiing. And I had a 16-foot runabout with a 200 Mercury on the back, jack plate, set up for running fast.
Really?
Yeah, it was a fast boat, 84 and 94, I forget what it was through the quarter mile. It was a fast boat.
That sounds amazing.
And problem with fast boats is they don't go slow. And if you're a tournament skier, she tricked at 12 miles an hour. And so my boat would not get on plane at 12 miles an hour. And so we're just plowing through the water. And she's back there. She, is on her trick skis going across the lake. She drops the ski. She puts her foot in the ski rope, and now she's skiing on one trick ski. And a trick ski's, I don't know, 30 inches long, and turning around backwards, skiing and all this. And anyway, we ended up getting married. We ended up buying a Mastercraft, which is a tournament ski boat, because it's got 2 speedometers, and it will run at, a low speed.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when did you start your modeling?
Okay, well, let's see. How did that start? So around the time whenever I started wanting to get into portrait photography, somebody told me that if you wanted to look into doing that, or if you wanted to get in touch with some models, there were a bunch of Facebook groups that came in handy for stuff like that. So before I joined any of those groups, I browsed them just to see, what all they were like, who was in there, what people were asking of who, stuff like that. And, I just thought, what? Why not go for both sides of the camera? I mean, I feel like I got something to prove. Why not put myself out there? Why not see what happens? The fact that 1 or 2 of these things even happened in the first place was kind of like an unexpected surprise. And I never thought that I would get published multiple times as a model, even though it's happened more times as a photographer. No complaints. You never know what you can do if you don't go for it.
Well, I'm the most photographed guy in DFW Metroplex.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's because of having the studios. Photographers come in, models go to the dressing room, and we need to set up lights and do a light test. Mm-hmm. So I'm the subject for the light test. So I've shot with a ton of people.
Okay.
Just for that purpose.
Gotcha.
But I've actually had one photographer call me and say, I want to shoot you. And so we did a shoot. We got some good images. Mm-hmm. I've got one of them hanging on the wall in the studio.
All right.
And so Sally, tell us about you.
I'm just a secretary at a car repair shop.
At a what?
At a car repair shop.
Oh, okay. And so how did you meet Mike? Matt.
Well, we met at Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Did they confuse the
in-
order or what?
No. We met in 2019.
And inside, not through the drive-through, I'm assuming.
No, not in the drive.
So he didn't rear-end you in the
No.
drive-through?
No.
Side note, I got a friend that NAA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and he had 3 DWIs, and 2 of them were in the drive-through at McDonald's.
Ooh.
Yeah. They frown on passing out in the drive-through at McDonald's when you're so drunk you can't stay awake. So you met him at Chick-fil-A, and did he think you were cute, or how did y'all meet?
Well, that was pretty much how we met, but we just
Did he look over and say, hey, you're cute,
Talked.
want to share some chicken nuggets, or what?
no, we just talked, and then nothing really happened then. And then he contacted me in November of 2023.
Oh, okay, so it took you a while, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it did.
So it would seem.
Yeah. It's a little shy.
I guess you could kind of say that. I mean, just back whenever we originally met, it was a fun time, but it's just like, for lack of a better term, I just wasn't feeling it then. And then we just kind of went our own ways and became like distant friends. And then we just got back to talking out of nowhere almost last year. And, we talked about some stuff about each other that we didn't know beforehand. And it led to her visiting my church and us hanging out just for old time's sake. And one thing led to another, and here we are. I guess that's kind of the short version of it.
So
We've been dating for 8 months.
now that you're boyfriend, girlfriend, do you still attend separate churches?
No.
Okay, so whose church won?
His.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So which,
I didn't really have a whole lot of people my age at my church, so I was really looking to switch.
well, I've been in that same boat. And when my wife and I were looking for churches 10 years ago, we went to a church, and we were the youngest people there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it had a lot of old folks there.
Okay.
Because I was in my 60s at the time.
Gotcha.
So, but we then found one that had a conglomerate of different ages of people. So, okay, Sally, what got you into modeling?
He
Matt?
did.
And so have you modeled for anybody besides Matt?
No, I haven't done anything. I just started when I started dating him, pretty much.
So you're Matt's eye candy.
Well, I mean, if you've seen some of the stuff we've shot, whether it's just her or we're together, I mean, yeah.
Well, so it was nice. You know, my wife is my eye candy. And I'll say that publicly. Privately, I'm her eye candy.
Cool.
Okay. So, heard you say you've been published.
Did you say, like, where would you say I've been published?
Well, you did say you'd been published,
Uh-huh.
right? As a photographer and as a model?
Yeah, before any of that stuff happened, going back to the water sports thing, for like my first 5 years of taking pictures, pretty much all my publications were in this thing called Pro Rider Watercraft Magazine. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is.
Yeah. But that magazine is still around today, but most of the Texas organizations around here, they are run by a company who has their own media people. So it's not like, any outside people were needed for that type of stuff. So I'm kind of like semi-retired from that. But for the first 5 years, just about everything was in that one particular magazine, Pro Rider Watercraft Magazine. And ever since then, whenever the whole portrait photography and modeling stuff happened, there's been a few dozen publications, but I'd have to say probably the ones that I've been in the most or lucked out with the most. There's one that's made right here in the DFW area, You're It magazine. Been published with them a few times. Prestige Model Magazine, I want to say that's what it's called. It's out of the UK. Been published with them a few times. Let's see, Top Posters Magazine. Been in there a few times.
Now, this is all as a photographer, correct?
Well, they've all kind of blended together, photographer and models. Mostly as photographers, but sometimes as models, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, those have been some of the more recent ones. Those are three of the main ones right there.
Now, let's talk about publication.
Okay.
How much have you been paid for those publications?
I haven't really been paid for any of them. It's just submission based.
Okay. Because I have this thing people say, I got published. I've been published 25 times. How much did you make? Oh, nothing. Okay. So you're just saying somebody put your picture in a magazine. It's probably online, and you have to pay $30 to get a copy of it, and you've been published.
Oh, I don't ever do that.
Yeah,
I don't ever pay for them.
Well, I wouldn't either. But I just don't think the word published or the glory that comes with saying I'm published is what it was 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You get published 50 years ago, you got a paycheck. You know, they paid for submissions,
Right.
and now they don't.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And I've heard that too.
Yeah, so it's more of a bragging right thing for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something. It's just something extra to add to the portfolio.
Right. more of an impressive thing.
Yeah, but I did hear about the good old days where you get paid for your publications. But I mean, for me, it's just like it's just something extra to add to the portfolio. It's like one more little tiny accomplishment, stuff like that.
I think sports photographers, professional, shooting the Cowboys, for an example, if they get an image of, the current quarterback getting his head taken off and it goes in the newspaper, they may get paid for that, But for most photographers that aren't doing it like sports all day, every day for professional teams, they're probably not paid. So which do you prefer, the photography side or the model side?
It's to a point where it's like I can't really pick one over the other. It's like I enjoy both of them for different reasons. I mean, sure, it's nice to see myself in front of the camera, seeing that I still got a little something to get in a publication. But at the same time, as a photographer, it's like it's nice to see, my creative side come out to where I have control of the images and stuff like that. I enjoy them both for different reasons. I don't know if I could really pick one over the other. They're both equally enjoyable to me.
So if somebody wants you as a model, how do they get hold of you?
Let's see. You can get a hold of me through Instagram. It's MattSavageChamp05.
Say it slowly.
Gotcha.
And spell it for people.
Gotcha. Easiest way is through my Instagram. It's MattSavageChamp05. MattSavage05.
Okay. And then for the photography side?
Same way.
Same way. Okay. So you use one Instagram for both?
Pretty much.
And Sally, are you out there looking for other photographers to shoot you yet?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
kind of new to this, so I don't know.
Well, do you have an Instagram you want to tell people? Or you
I
want to
have
wait for a
one,
while?
but I don't really have a lot of pictures on it, so
Okay.
I don't know that it's worth sharing.
Well, maybe when you get farther along, we might do that, revisit it. So you were in town today shooting with Gary?
Yes, I was. Just wrapped up a shoot with him in one of these other rooms in the Covenant studio. He shot both of us. It's a very high-class, spiffy-looking portrait shoot. Yeah, I mean, we had fun with it. It's coming soon.
Okay. And now where?
And now where? Like, what's next?
Yeah, today.
I think this is probably the last thing we had set in stone. So, I mean, if this is it for our day-to-day, then it looks like we're ending on a pretty good note. So, I mean,
Okay.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens next.
Okay, so no other shoot to run to or anything else today?
Well, there was stuff that was set up today, but, as things happen, there's a lot of shoots that wind up getting canceled for one way or
One reason or another.
Yeah, it's one of those predicaments. It's like we had at least one other one that was set up, but it fell through. So it's like, we'll be spontaneous, see what happens next.
Well, if you've never been to Portillo's,
Portillo's.
it's a famous Chicago hot dog restaurant.
Okay.
And they've got a couple of locations in Texas. There's one about 8 miles from here, right off 35 and North Tarrant. They have really good sliced beef sandwich.
Okay.
And I'm not paid by Portillo's, folks, so it's not a paid commercial. But it's excellent. I mean, and it's 8 inches long probably, is regular. And get it wet because they put extra juice on it. And be sure, tell them you want peppers.
Okay, noted.
And it's, $10, $9, something like that.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for the recommendation.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wrap this up, folks. Matt and You've got his contact info. If you need a model or a photographer, reach out to him. And if you want to get hold of Sally as a model, reach out to Matt. I bet he knows how to find her. At least today.
I think I might know that.
All righty. Thank y'all, everyone. Anything you want to add?
Let's see. I can't really think of anything else at the moment, but I will say that both of us actually, we've got 2 or 3 shoots that have just happened. They're in the editing process. We've got some stuff coming soon, and I guess visit us on Instagram, visit me on Instagram, and we'll see what happens next.
All right, and y'all come back and see us, folks. Thanks a lot.